Hey everyone, it's the Filmist here once again with another goofy ass hair day. This is not on purpose, this just happens no matter what I do to it. I think it's because I fried my ends when I bleached my hair. In any case, we're going to do something that I've been wanting to do for just a minute. This is kind of like the first in a series of videos I'm going to do that are kind of about my previous abandoned projects. You know, I've worked on, handful of films. I've done various things. I've gripped. I've been a set decorator. I've been a cinematographer. On nothing that anybody has seen or that's worth anything. I mean, they've all been pretty bad. But I've also tried to make my own things, and some have been successful, and some have not. For whatever reason. Sometimes the budget just falls through. Sometimes locations don't work out. Sometimes the actors don't commit fully. The same type of thing that can happen to like any film or whatever. I just wanted to go ahead and kind of take a look at that stuff, because with a lot of these projects, at least the ones I'm going to show you guys here, stuff was shot, effort was put forward, and even though the project didn't work out, there's still some stuff to show off that I'm kind of proud of. And with one particular project coming up, not this one, but another one, there were a lot of great actors that came, to the auditions and the readings, and they really did a fantastic job. And even though we never got to the point of shooting, I really just want to, demonstrate the fact that like they were really good at what they did. But that's for later on. This project we're going to be taking a look at right now is one that I worked on, I guess, about 6 or 7 years ago. I was living in another part of Austin at the time, in kind of a really creepy apartment complex. It was right next to what I later found out was the church of a cult, like an actual legitimate cult with murders and all sorts of weird conspiratorial stuff to their name. And it was just kind of a weird neighborhood and a weird apartment complex in general. Like, it was not in too bad of a neighborhood, but the people who lived there, it was mainly like older people and younger people. There was always something strange going on. There was a really ominous feeling in the air. The residents were a little bit too friendly, and the way the place was constructed was kind of like a maze. I've never seen an apartment complex like it before, and that kind of inspired myself and the person that I was living with to come up with the idea of improvisational filmmaking. And so that's what we did with these series of shorts. Now, if y'all like, this video didn't get a lot of traction, but I'll include the link in the description. We did finish one full part of this series, the first part, and this series was called The Neighbor, and that's about the size of it, really. It had a really bare bones plot. It was about a young guy moving into an apartment where he gets a visit from a neighbor who's welcoming him into the neighborhood, and stuff starts to slowly kind of undulate and go wrong, and he realizes there's other things at play. Now, the idea behind it was, we had a camera, we had a microphone, we had several lenses, we had, between myself and the other person, we had a working knowledge of makeup and, of all this kind of stuff. And we had a day job, and we figured we wanted to go ahead and see what we can do in the 4 hours after we get off of work every day. We'd come home and just see what we can do. We knew what the synopsis was of the story that we were trying to tell, kind of like this weird David Lynchian sort of creepy nightmare story, and the atmosphere we were trying to maintain, the tone. But what we did as a practice, and I guess as a guiding philosophy, was we never wrote any scenes out right up until like when we got home and decided what we were going to shoot for that day. We would always take a day to consider where else the story could go and what else we could do with it based off what we'd shot the previous night. And we would write out a bare synopsis, and then a lot of it was just kind of like improvisational. It was really fun. I mean, I wouldn't suggest it for like a longer form project like a feature film, but it's definitely an approach I'd like to try again and again, because and not just with the dialogue or the dynamics between characters, but also in the filmmaking process itself. It's a lot of fun, and it really keeps you on your toes. And clues you in to what it is you know and you don't know and what you can think of on the fly. What you're seeing here is a ton of work, and I gotta tell you, as fun as it was, I wore that same outfit and didn't wash it because I was stupid, and I didn't like the washateria that was there at that apartment complex because I didn't want to get murdered there. So that little costume, that little uniform that I wore remained unwashed for like the week and a half that we shot all this stuff. And there was a lot of running, there was a lot of jumping, because it's a short series that was kind of defined by the idea of isolation and sort of an undulating tension and exploration. It was really more. We tried to keep it as threadbare as possible because it was really just meant as kind of an opportunity to explore all the tools and just kind of goof around and, you know, mess with stuff and see what we could do. Sometimes it was successful. I think there's actually some pretty good cinematography for what little bare bones tools we had that we were using here, and some pretty good editing, as a matter of fact. But I also think too, there's some things that didn't work out. Like, I'm never going to try to ever do makeup on my own again. I am not good at makeup, as you'll see. And I think also too, I would greatly suggest that even for a project like this in the future, like, I'm going to be going back to this approach again, and I actually have come up with projects since with this same idea in mind. I would suggest perhaps a less threadbare starting point, because after a certain point, you just kind of lose track of where you're going if you don't have it written out. And that's probably obvious to everybody here. I'm not, you know, breaking any new ground by saying that. But, you know, I had to discover it for myself. And another thing, too, that I thought was interesting about this place was that, you know, what it helped me learn as a filmmaker was the stuff that you can imply really simply just through what you can do with the camera, I guess. Which I guess kind of goes into, in the 6 or 7 years since that I shot this, like what my approach has been in the projects that like I've actually developed even further, which is, I guess, a more formalist or pure cinema approach, and you guys are going to hear me say that a lot. But a lot of what you'll see in this film, I mean, there's not really much happening in these shots, and there really wasn't much happening in the actual scenes themselves. Don't worry, you're not missing much by hearing me instead of the dialogue there. It was all pretty rote and terrible. But a lot of the tone that we were trying to convey, and a lot of the whatever does come through, if anything does come through, it's because of the placement of the camera and the juxtaposition of shots, and because of like how the camera moves and what the camera implies rather than the characters themselves. Because I look dopey as shit in this short film, because it was me, and I had long hair, long goofy hair. I mean, not like I'm doing much better right now, clearly. I had long goofy hair, you know. I to this day, I don't know if I've ever gotten any better at dialogue, whether it's whether it's improvised or not. But I did know that what, at the very least, even though we didn't plan anything out, I did know that what mattered to me more than like rote dialogue, because it was a thriller, like a suspense thriller, surreal as it might have been, I knew that what mattered more was, like, I guess, like the visual aesthetic or whatever, and of course staying within the guiding philosophy, which was, you know, to make everything up the night of, and also to not spend a single dollar, not to spend like a single dollar on sets or constructions or anything like that. It was going to be specifically low budget guerrilla and free. So it was really more like a study in tools. Did the study come off? No, not entirely, because the thing never got finished. But yeah, it taught me some stuff, so I think it served its purpose. And I hope that y'all have enjoyed this. There's going to be a few more of these videos coming, because these projects never got finished. But once again, there's stuff about them that I'm certainly proud of. And you're going to see bits, if I ever finish the other stuff, if you guys ever see on this channel, if I ever finish the other stuff that I've been working on, the bigger, more confident stuff that I've worked on in the time since, then you'll see certain ideas kind of reappear that I kind of like quite a bit. Yeah, so there you are. Thanks for watching.